Ant-Man and the Wasp is directed by Peyton Reed, featuring Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly. And I just went to go see this movie about less than an hour ago. Hello everybody, my name is Saucy, and today we are going to be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp. So we're going to break this review into two separate parts. We have spoiler-free and spoiler. So half the review is going to be spoiler-free, the other is going to be spoiler. So we're going to start off with the spoiler-free. I guess we should just start off with the fact that I like this movie. I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was funny. I thought it had good action. I did have a few gripes with the movie, though. I had some issues with the bad guy. You know, the white girl that fades around in the trailers.
We have to stop her.
We're gonna have to fight Ghost. 3, we're gonna track down Ghost.
I did have one. I did have a couple issues with her, but overall, so I did have a couple issues with her. The movie also, this movie isn't structured that well. When I was watching this movie and it was towards the end, in the climax, I actually couldn't tell if we were in the climax or not. This movie wasn't structured great. I feel like that could have been done better. That's one of the main issues I have with this movie. Some characters just aren't as fleshed out as others. Like Paul Rudd.
With a jump of 7 feet, 10 inches.
He had his own movie. He is very well developed as a character. So is Hope, her name in this movie. Hope Pym. She is very well fleshed out, as well as Hank Pym.
Because I did it to him.
And what's Paul Rudd character? Scott Lang. That's what his name is in this movie. Scott Lang, also known as Ant-Man. When you watch this movie, you'll realize that, some characters aren't great, others are good. Those are really the only gripes I have with this movie. There's a lot of good in this movie. I like the action, the entire concept of, things shrinking and then becoming big. That's always been a huge, that's been pretty cool. The story was okay in this movie. I did like it. I thought it was a little off in some ways, but overall it had a good story. This is a good family movie to watch. I would definitely recommend it. If I had to give this movie a grade, it would be a B or an 8 out of 10. I did enjoy this movie. There was a few issues with the plot and the characters, but overall, this is a good movie, and I would recommend you seeing it. Okay, so now we're in the spoiler-filled part of the review. So we should start off with the fact that I said in the other part of the review that the bad guy wasn't, I had some issues with the bad guy. The bad guy is a girl, and she wasn't very, the bad guy wasn't very developed as a character. She her storyline was basically basically what happened is her dad was working on something for the quantum realm, which is where Hank Pym's wife got stuck for 30 years or something like that. And basically, her father was working on it. Then what the father was working on went horribly wrong. So the girl, the bad guy, is the daughter of this father that is in charge of the thing. Okay, I am explaining this horribly right now.
Except when the value of the x-coordinate is equal to or less than the value of 1.
Basically, the girl, the father's working on something, it goes wrong. The girl goes in with the father, then the mother follows her because she doesn't want the girl to get hit by this freak accident. And basically, both of her parents die, and she is alone. But she has these really weird powers where she like phases in and out of things. Like the Flash, for example, he can like phase through things. That's basically her, but like all the time. And her powers are very confusing, but I did like her powers anyway. I thought her powers were creative. They were definitely cool. But that's the only backstory we get on her. She was in a freak accident with her parents. And also, this girl is like the best friend of this guy who knew him as a girl when she was affected. And they were like, you know, an evil duo. They didn't really feel that evil until the end of the movie. Like, until the beginning of the movie, I mean. Like, in the beginning of the movie, they just felt like random and evil. But at the end of the movie, it was like just all back to normal. Yeah, another thing is Hank's wife was in the quantum realm for 30 years. That's like the subplot in this movie. They're trying to retrieve her from the quantum realm so that she can save the girl, the one that has like the phasing powers. And apparently what the girl wants to do, what the bad guy wants to do, might kill her. So that's basically her evil plan, get her out of the quantum realm. And then, like, you know, kill her and then save herself. So yeah, the plot is a little confusing, but if you watch the movie, you'll catch on. I'm just terrible at explaining things. And the entire movie is all these different characters trying to get, like, this lab. Like, it shrinks and then goes down. It's basically a building. I can go from a building to, like, this little suitcase. And I thought that was really cool. Basically, the entire movie is premised around that. And I said it earlier that I had problems with the characters. The problems I have is the characters just aren't well developed. Like I said, the bad guy isn't well developed. There's also this weird guy that the Wasp is getting like parts from. And this guy is like, he's supposed to be like a second villain. But he's not really explained. He's just kind of thrown into the plot. It doesn't really feel like they did that as well as they could have. But that's really the only issues I have with this movie. Like I said before, I like the action in this movie. They got pretty creative with it at times. The story was decent. Paul Rudd in this movie was amazing. Easily the best part of the movie. You know, I liked the entire concept of the movie is great, and like I said earlier, I would recommend seeing it. I would give this movie a B and an 8 out of 10. So if you enjoyed this review, go check out my other review of Uncle Drew. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you're new. Till next time.